Hello and welcome to Catalyst Happy Hour with me, Anthony.
And me, Darren.
And we are back. We had a week off last week. You might have noticed, you might not have noticed. We didn't get any messages of anyone complaining, so...
Yeah, we weren't here. We took a week off at the last minute.
Yeah, but we're back, and that's all that matters for all you dedicated listeners that noticed that we weren't here.
Yeah, I didn't. Nobody even mentioned it.
No, I didn't even give it a thought. Not even Teresa. Teresa, if you're listening, could have at least. We know you know why we weren't here, but you could have still dropped us a message and said, "Where's the podcast?"
I really miss it.
Yeah,
you know, my life is not complete because I haven't had my weekly dose of Catalyst Happy Hour-ish available on all the streaming platforms.
But we're back, and if you haven't heard the rest of our podcast, head over to our website www.catalystsheaf.org.uk, where you can find all 72, maybe 3, whatever it is now, as well as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, so much more, and our email addresses, which are Anthony or Darren at catalystsheaf.org.uk, or the one that we both read, probably the best one to use, info@catalystsheaf.org.uk. But before we go any further with today's podcast, anyone that has Twitter and you are listening, I need you to do something. Yesterday, depending when you're listening to this, we are recording this on the Friday. It's due out at 2 p.m. This was yesterday. Georgia Tennant, the wife of David Tennant, who has also starred in Staged and Doctor Who and things like that, started a hashtag that said Georgia Tennant does a podcast with. Now you all need to send it to her with Catalyst Happy Hour-ish. Let's see if we can make this happen. Okay. Can you imagine?
I've not seen that, and I have literally just seen your tweet about it.
Yeah, I straight away, as soon as I saw the hashtag, replied with, you should come on to Catalyst Happy Hour-ish. We'd love to chat.
I shall copy that and do it as well.
But there we go. So anyone that has Twitter, jump on there, get the hashtag Georgia Tennant does a podcast with, and then, tag in Catalyst Youth UK, tag in myself, tag in Darren if you have us. Just write Catalyst Happy Hour-ish, put a link to the Spotify, whatever you want to do. Every little helps.
It does. And I'm also reading that you tagged me in another one 11 hours ago.
The Abrams wanted to know what they should have in their new music video, so I told them a cameo from me and you.
Oh, no.
They didn't reply.
I'm not surprised.
So I'll email them instead.
So I don't know if you missed our tweet, but but yeah. So do you know what? Twitter is not I don't really go on there that often.
No.
Yeah, I quite enjoy Twitter when I do go on there. So I don't know why I don't.
But Twitter is probably, social media wise, probably my most used app.
Okay.
Not for. I mean, if we're talking like for work and youth work and things like that, it's probably Instagram. But yeah, Twitter is personally the one I use most, mainly because it's really good at, keeping up with when bands are touring and films and things like that. So.
Yeah, I think the only time I use Twitter is to find out why Fortnite's not working.
It's so true. It's so true.
Why is this running slow? And then I'll jump onto Twitter and check. And I think Brendan uses it he jumps on my Twitter to have a look at the Roblox crews, because they do a lot of giveaways through Twitter.
Okay.
So he jumps on there and gets the codes.
Nice.
But yeah, it's there
you go.
Right, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be good, and who knows? Maybe it'll get us some more guests for the podcast.
Yeah, we just start tweeting people. I mean,
should we just start the hashtag Darren and Antony do a podcast with, and just start tagging people in it?
Yeah, I mean, we could ask. I mean, I follow Deborah Meaden from Dragon's Den. I mean, she's local. She's only up the road.
I don't know if I could do it.
I mean, we could pitch an idea to her.
Oh, shall we?
I mean, there we go. Anthony's now going to tweet Deborah Meaden and see if she'll do a podcast. I mean, we could see,
Deborah
I think
Meaden
that's the
does a
thing
podcast,
with all of our guests. It is just a matter that we've just reached out and asked.
Yeah.
Obviously, no one's come to us and said, "Please, can I be on your podcast?"
No, they did, but mainly if we know them.
Yeah, and we've asked them first off, but
No, Megan asked.
Did she?
Got the ball rolling. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realise she asked.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Just
that's
Megan. But yeah, if you know anybody that would like to come on the podcast for any reason, it doesn't even have to be jobs anymore. I don't think, just for any reason they want to come on they've got a hobby that's not well known, maybe, or a well known hobby that they're really into that they want to come and talk about.
We're just happy to interview them.
Yeah. If you collect stamps, do not apply because I cannot think of anything duller than collecting stamps.
This is why we don't get guests.
and like stamps and coins. It's like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, we have
prove
me wrong. Come on and prove me wrong.
Yeah, we've got 2 guests lined up that are to do with jobs, but as Darren says, we're past that now. Yeah. If you want to come and talk about your job, we're not putting you off, but it can now be anything.
Did Elton get back to us?
No.
Oh. So Elton John, if you're listening.
Let me tell you the people that didn't get back to us, okay?
Okay, here's name and shame. So if you know these people or you follow them, tag them in a complaint.
Elton John. Dick and Dom.
I nearly spat my coffee out there.
Will Smith.
Did you ask Will Smith?
John Cena.
Oh my goodness.
And John Cena couldn't even receive my messages because they don't allow new messages from everyone.
Wow.
Who else did? Ant and Dec.
Oh, what? I'm not watching Saturday Night Takeaway no more then.
No. Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran.
And that's it.
Wow. I mean, I think we might have set ourselves too high of a bar. I think we need to drop down a couple of rungs and then work our way up.
No, I went in full guns blazing, like, yeah, done.
Yeah, and I think, didn't we have a conversation and be just like, what if, like, Elton John did reply?
The thing is, they got so many messages, it might still happen.
Yeah, so join us in 2050 when they finally get round to our message. And, oh, dear. Yeah, so literally, if you know anybody that would like to come on the podcast, please let them know. Get them to get in touch. You've already heard the email addresses, and we'll make it happen. Or if you're listening and you want to come on and have a chat about anything, then why not?
We are dream makers.
Yeah, we can make your dream come true.
However, while we speak about guests, anyone that lives in my area, Hayward Heath, Burgess Hill, that type of thing, Zoe B, who we had on a few weeks ago, has actually got a gig coming up in Burgess Hill. I don't have exact times and stuff, but it will be on the 18th of March. So keep an eye out for anything she has on her social media if you want to see her live.
18th, that's a Friday.
Yeah.
I don't think I can make it.
No.
I'm just looking at what's happening before then. And
to be fair, it's in 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, I can't make that one. Sadly, I'd love to come and watch the live.
There'll be more. Yeah. But yeah, anyone, keep an eye on her social media and see when it comes up, because she hasn't actually advertised it yet.
Cool.
I just got it as extra information from the person that booked.
Nice. And also, if you're interested, Big Church Day Out is happening this year. It hasn't been cancelled, and it's not going to be cancelled by the looks of things because we are no longer in restrictions as of last week.
Yeah.
Hurrah. If you go into that, literally, there are so many bands now. A couple who have pulled out, which we're a bit disappointed in. But, we're
disappointed in them.
Yeah.
They've let themselves down. They've let us down.
It says in the Bible, let your word be true. There's something in there about being truthful and like let your word be a promise. Let your yes be a yes and your no be a no.
Yeah.
They said yes and now they've said no.
And now they said no. So that's a yes to a no.
Yeah, that's not right. But I think, isn't the Abrams coming again?
They are. The Abrams will be there. And we're going. So if you are going, let us know.
Yeah, come and find us. And, tweet us.
We should have got a Catalyst flag.
There's still time.
Oh, should we get
still time?
Flag?
If you're over the age of 18 and you're coming, we'll give you a beer.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Maybe bring your own. We don't share.
But yeah, that's happening in June. It's actually happening over the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebration weekend. So yeah, if you're coming along to that, let us know. And if you listen, it'd be really cool to meet up with a stranger that listens to our podcast.
Yeah.
Let us have that feeling of being famous.
Yeah. Just once.
just one time. Just one time. And hopefully we're going to try and record a podcast actually at Big Church Day Out. I have found an app on the phone to be able to do it. So I just need to bring the microphone plug-in that I've got for the phone. So so
we're going to do that. We're going to do that fan thing of track down the Abrams and get a live interview.
Yeah. Do you remember us?
I think they would.
Yeah. And if you follow the Abrams, they've lit... who was it? Who read Lord of the Rings?
Well, I mean, many people have read Lord of the Rings.
No, of the Abrams. Was it James?
Probably John.
I think it was John. Yeah, it was John. It's finally done his all-time bucket list thing, and he said read Lord of the Rings, and then I heard that he actually listened to it on a audiobook. So, but he said it's really, really good to listen to it, and it has actually been on my list of things to do, is to read Lord of the Rings. But quite frankly, I've not got the time to read that many pages. So
I've read the first one.
What I've done is I've actually downloaded. I'm part of Audible, which, by the way, you can find this podcast on Audible. And I've actually downloaded Lord of the Rings.
That's a good point. We never promote where this podcast is anymore, do we? It don't matter.
No, but the thing is, if you're listening to the podcast, you already know where it is. But yeah, we're literally available on Spotify, Audible, Apple, Amazon Echo-y thing.
And YouTube.
YouTube, yeah. On YouTube, it goes up, and it even has captions. So if you want to watch the closed captions on YouTube and let us know if it actually understands us.
I say they're never correct, but no, I read the first Lord of the Rings. I just need to do the next two.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I've never read any of them, but I have downloaded the first two books.
Nice.
Because I haven't used my Audible account for a while, and I had 2 credits saved up. So, and actually today, another credit's just gone on, so I could get the third book as well. So I'm going to start listening to that.
Who reads it? Is it someone?
It's dramatized.
Okay. Because there is also The Sandman, which is written by Neil Gaiman. That is very good on Audible, and that's a very good cast.
Bear with me. I'm just going to look up Lord of the Rings and see who reads it. Narrated by Ian Holm, Michael Hordern, Robert Stevens, and a full cast.
Okay.
So,
well, there we go.
Oh, it's the first broadcast on BBC Radio 4, March the 8th, 1981.
There you go.
So it's Ian Holm as Frodo. So Michael Hordern as Gandalf.
Is it the book or is it scripted?
I don't know. I think it's the book, and they just made the voices of them speaking, maybe. So I presume they'd have a narrator, and then they jump in. Okay. I will let you know when I start listening to it. I only did it yesterday.
Well, definitely do. Definitely.
But it's been given 4.5 stars on Audible. So
out of 5?
Out of 5, yeah.
Okay. Just checking. Well, you're probably now all sat at home thinking, what are they talking about? Well, gives us a nice link in, because today we are going to be talking about something which has happened this week. Maybe you did something for it, maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't even realise it was on. However, I'd be surprised if someone didn't realise it was on. It seems to be everywhere when it happens.
I mean, all you need to do is look outside your window during school drop-off and school pickup time, and you'll suddenly see a descend of children dressed up weirdly as different characters.
Yeah. Well, because yesterday was World Book Day, which, for anyone that doesn't know, World Book Day is basically just an opportunity where you celebrate books and authors and, try and encourage, especially young people, try and encourage them to read more, which is why, you'll see schools will give out those £1 tokens, which then you can spend on a book that has especially been written for World Book Day. I didn't actually see a lot of which authors got involved in that this year.
Nor did I. Sadly, once for my child has reached the age of secondary schools don't really get involved in World Book Day.
No.
Because, dressing up as a character is not the thing to do when you're 11 plus, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, once you reach our age and you go on youth camps, apparently dressing up's absolutely fine.
Comes back in.
So you kind of miss it and then it comes back again. So,
I've got a question for you, Dan.
Yeah.
And don't look it up.
I was just looking at the World Book Day and just see who was.
No. But as in, while you're doing that, hopefully you don't stumble across this answer.
Okay.
But do you know what day World Book Day was created by UNESCO? So that is the group that initially.
What day is the what?
What day did World Book Day originate by the group UNESCO?
A Tuesday.
What date?
I don't know.
Just a guess. I mean, you can even just do the year if.
Okay, I'll go for the year. It's probably a recent thing, probably like the 80s.
Okay. So what are you going for?
1980. I'll go for the year of my birth, 1981.
Okay, so World Book Day was created on the 23rd of April, 1995.
Oh, okay.
But do you know which year the first World Book Day actually took place in the UK?
Probably 99.
1997.
Oh.
Well, that was a good quiz to begin with, and you didn't do very well.
Well, if you let me look it up, I would have.
Don't worry, we've still got Darren's Dilemma minute to come. So, but no, I just found that fascinating that someone actually, World Book Day started on a certain year, and then the UK didn't pick it up for another 2 years. But now we see it as like a staple of our culture. And I remember always having World Book Day in school, which would make sense because I was born in 94. The first one in the UK would have been 97. So when I started school, we're probably talking like 1998. It would have been then the staple to go onto it.
Yeah, and there's loads going on. And you got live book readings happening. Local libraries get involved as well, and you can go pick up special vouchers and go out and get yourself one of the books that they're advertising. You can even jump online now and get badges and T-shirts. And World Book Day, the actual people that are running it, which is, I just read them a second ago, they're just called the World Book Day Limited, is a registered charity.
Okay.
But yeah, there's loads of different books, and it's a really good opportunity to, pick up a book and start reading, especially if you don't read.
Yeah. And I'm just looking through now some of the books, there's people like Matt Lucas, Michael Morpurgo, Simon Farnaby, Nadia Shireen. They've all written books. They're probably the most popular names on there. But they always do something special for it. And it is worth getting involved in if you can somehow, even if it is just to encourage someone to pick up a book.
Yeah. And head over to YouTube and type in World Book Day. And because they have got their own YouTube channel, and I'm sure there's probably the events that they've run is probably already on there. because obviously we've missed it because it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, I mean, we live literally just down the road from a school, and also on Facebook. I mean, you can't miss it really. If you go on Facebook, if you've got friends who've got children who go to a primary school, guaranteed they would have posted a picture. And it seems to be, for my feed this year, Mary Poppins was the big, the dress up. I saw quite a few Mary Poppins. I saw an amazing one. I was sat here at the desk yesterday looking out the window, as you do, school leaving time, and I saw Cruella Deville. This girl has gone all out. She had the hair, the outfit. It was superb. So I take my hats off to whoever she is.
Yeah.
Just amazing. And just various things. It's always quite cool when you're looking outside and you're looking at the kids dressed up going, what book is that? And they, then they're always going for some of them go for books that you probably wouldn't think of.
Yeah.
I think somebody did Narnia, and he was dressed in had the Narnia, when they were in their regalia.
Oh yeah.
Movie. They were dressed up. He had like that kind of outfit going on. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Brendan's dressed up a few times. We've got, is it Millionaire Boy? I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
He dressed up as the Golden Ticket. We actually did find, because we're sorting out his bedroom at the moment, and we actually did find a load of stuff that Sarah was meant to put on Facebook at the beginning of the week. So we thought, ideal time to sell this junk, because they wear it once and they grow out of it. So yeah, we had a load of stuff downstairs. I think Harry Potter as well.
There's always a few Harry Potters, but I mean, I have two questions for you, Darren, regarding World Book Day, and I'll answer them as well. It's just that they're the questions I thought of. But first of all, do you have any, and maybe just one, do you have any memories of World Book Day, whether that's what you dressed up as when you were younger or whether it's something in youth work?
When I was younger, no, because I left school in 1997 when the UK decided to do World Book Day. But that
was beautiful. I did not expect that answer. Didn't even set that up. That was great.
No, but I have taken part in World Book Day as an adult.
Yeah,
and I've never really gone out my way to buy an outfit for World Book Day, because it only happens once a year. And like for camp, yeah, because it's a big thing for us for work.
Yeah.
But for work, I mean, I dressed up as a Ghostbuster. Okay. I know that's a bit of a cop out because that's not really a book, but there has been like comic books.
It leads on to my next question. Don't worry. So we'll come back to that.
So I dressed up as a Ghostbuster because I already had the gear for a party I went to.
Yeah.
That was an 80s party, and Ghostbusters came out in the 80s. What else have I done? I think that's about it.
Okay.
Because it falls on it never really fell on a day that I was going into schools.
Yeah.
So, but if it fell on a day that went into schools, I would dress up. But on the days that it didn't, obviously, I didn't bother. Okay. So, yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
I mean, I'm trying to sit here and try and remember when I was in school. I mean, I do remember going as Harry Potter. I must have probably been year 4, something like that. And the only reason I remember that is because my mum knitted me, in the first film where they get given the letters on the jumper. Yeah. My mum knitted me one with an A on it, and then the Gryffindor scarf as well, which complete change now because everything I have is Slytherin rather than Gryffindor, but what a turn.
Gryffindor's better though.
But so I remember that, but I also, obviously working in the primary school, each year was something different. I did do Harry Potter one year there, and then one of the other TAs went as Draco Malfoy, so we ended up having like a fight in the middle of the corridor because we each had a fake wand and thought we were really cool and funny. And actually we were just 20-year-olds pretending to play wizards in a school.
And did you get pulled up on that, or did you get away with that one?
Got away with it. Okay. And but I also went as Albus Dumbledore when I worked in the school. Had the beard and the robe and everything. So yeah, there's a lot of times where I've been involved in World Book Day, and
any excuse
I always went for it. with the dressing up in the primary school.
I think I would. If I worked in a primary school, I think I would go all out.
Yeah.
And then because you've got this kind of seriousness about you throughout the year.
Mm.
And then for World Book Day, you can just let that all go.
I was always really clever about it, though, because whatever I went dressed as, I always worked it out that, for example, when I went as Albus Dumbledore, obviously I had a beard, long robe and stuff. There were certain things I couldn't do in that, like if we had a PE lesson that day. So I always worked out that if I was to get changed, I'd still have a costume on of something.
And also, sticking on that same subject of Albus Dumbledore, I love the fact that it seems to be doing the rounds at the moment of this Lego video. I've seen it like dozens of times of did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? The comparison to the book.
Yeah.
Harry, did you put your name into the Goblet of Fire? And then suddenly the film version of Harry, did you put your name?
It annoys me so much that they did that. But just while we're on the subject of Harry Potter, we will come back to World Book Day. But I have seen online that Christopher Columbus has stated, who's the director of the first two films, has stated that he is
not
in talks.
To be confused with the guy who discovered America.
No. But he is in talks to release the director's cut of Philosopher's Stone, which if he does that, it will be 3 hours long and it will put Rickman back in as Peeves.
That is cool.
Yes, finally. It's because if anyone has watched the 20th anniversary, they do a in memory section and Rick Mayall is included in that. So then people were saying, well, Rick Mayall wasn't in the film, and that has then made him be like, well, we do actually have a cut of the film with him in.
Nice.
So it could be coming, finally.
Yeah, also, Fantastic Beasts movies out this year.
Yeah, Secrets of Dumbledore.
The origins of Dumbledore's army.
It is.
Hashtag the first army.
Well, yeah.
Kind of thing. You know what I mean? So that's looking good. I've seen some clips of that, and that's looking really good.
It is. I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, we've completely gone off topic. It's sort of not, because Harry Potter was a book. But this leads on to it is, yeah. This leads on to my next question, though. So Harry Potter originally was a book.
Yeah.
Before the films.
Yeah. So
people go as Harry Potter. People go as things from Narnia because it's originally a book.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with someone last night. This year, I know you said that what you saw a lot was Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
What I saw a lot this year was Anna from Frozen. And the debate I had last night was one of the guys I was talking to was saying, well, no, that's not a book. Whereas my point was, no, it wasn't originally a book, but there will be a book of it somewhere now, whether that is like an extension of the film, whether that is the film novel, whatever it is. My question to you, do you think World Book Day should only be for books that were originally a book and not like an extension off of a film?
I think no.
It's nice that you said about the Ghostbusters, because that also came up because someone said in the conversation last night, well, I went as a Ghostbuster, and that's not a book.
The thing, they were in a comic before they became a movie.
Okay.
But then again, you have that debate of, is a comic a book?
Yeah.
Some will say no. Some will say yeah. So I think anything, that's what World Book Day is for. Anything that makes you sit down and read and use your imagination is acceptable, because that's what it is for reading. When you read a book, you're immersing yourself in that moment, especially when it's a storybook of, something that's happening. Not so much the biographies, because you're just looking at somebody's life, but especially when it comes to things like Harry Potter and all the other books that are out there as well. You immerse yourself in that world. Yeah. And it stimulates your this is a really dull, but it stimulates your imagination, doesn't it? Yeah. It does. I have, got in, because I watched the movies before I read the books for Harry Potter, and I know we're sticking with Harry Potter, but I do apologize. But I watched the movies and then I read the books. Yeah. And I think that was a good way for me to do it because I fell in love with the movies.
Right.
And I fell more in love with Harry Potter by reading the books. And yes, I probably used what I saw in the movies in my imagination of, when I was reading.
Yeah.
But, I've read books that, there's one, the Queen and I think I've probably spoken about it before.
Yeah.
Recently got made into a TV show by David Williams, I think was in it, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
And, but that's exactly the way they made it, was the imagination, the idea I was seeing in my head. Although they missed lots of the story out, which they will always do. No matter what book you find, there will be bits that are left out because you can't make a movie. I mean, if you look at, say, back to Harry Potter again, you look to make a movie from the book of Harry Potter, gear yourself up and take your tea, your dinner, your breakfast, because it's going to be a really long movie. And it's creative license, so that they'll reduce it down. They'll keep in the bits that they think you want to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to your question, definitely, it doesn't matter. If it gets you thinking about reading, it gets you picking up a book and reading it, picking up a comic and reading it. I mean, when I was younger, I read comics. That was my go-to.
Yeah.
And I read the Beano, and I used to go and collect my Beano from the newsagents each time it was released. I want to say weekly, but I can't for the life of me remember if it was weekly. But I used to love it, to pick up that Beano and start reading the little stories in there. And even though you've got those little boxes with the pictures in, you're still using your imagination. You're still putting yourself as like that fly on the wall, watching what's happening. So yeah, I think, enjoy World Book Day, enjoy dressing up as whatever you like. I mean, I'd quite like to see a child dress up from a character from the Bible and take that into school. I think that would be amazing to see, being biased there, being a Christian and a Christian youth worker. But I think that would be amazing to see. So yeah, I think definitely doesn't matter if it was a book before or a book after, as long as it's encouraging that young person to pick up a book and start reading it and using their imagination, go for it.
Yeah, perfect.
So tell your friend to shut up.
But no, I agree. It was just an interesting topic because I'm the same as you in the fact that I would have ever given it a thought. As long as they picked up a book, you've done that. But yeah, it was interesting. So
yeah. But the thing is books give you a different vision than the film does.
Yeah.
And I think if for when I watched the movies and then read the books for Harry Potter, it just helped with that imagination, just helped with that story that's going on in your head.
Yeah.
And, I started reading Harry Potter on holiday. We went on holiday somewhere. I can't remember where it was now. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to read the Harry Potter book.
You went to the holiday park, Freshwater.
Oh, yeah, Freshwater.
Because we met you and you were reading the books.
And the thing is, I had to go to Waterstones to buy the second book.
Yeah.
Because I read the whole book in my holiday.
Yeah.
Because that's how much I loved it. And that's how much it was just a page turner and kept on going. I had to go out and buy the other book. But that's one thing actually has reminded me of. I've not read the other books yet that I bought. So things like The Fantastic Beasts, I think I bought. And The History of Quidditch, I think was one of them.
Quidditch Through the Ages.
Yeah, I need to find them out and have a read of them. They're only short ones.
They were done for like Red Nose Day or something. They were.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many books out there, that would inspire anybody. You think of it, there's probably a book about it. One book I can recommend, especially if you're a Christian and you want a bit of a laugh, is a book by Christopher Moore. And it's called Lamb. Have a read of that book.
Very funny. It
is a really funny book. It's about Jesus in his younger days, so as he's growing up. So obviously, if you read the Bible, you'll know that we saw Jesus when he was young, and then we see him in his 30s. We don't know what happened in that middle ground. And that book just opens your eyes up and just there's no proof or history to it. It's literally a book written just to make you chuckle a little bit.
It's very funny.
But yeah, a question for you then, Anthony, is what sort of books do you like to read? What is your go-to book? What genre?
See, that's really difficult. I think there's two genres that are like my go-to. One of them is autobiographies. I love reading autobiographies of people. I've just finished Mel Brooks' autobiography. Before that, I did Freddie Flintoff. Before that, I did.
What was Freddie's like?
They're very good.
Yeah,
yeah. He's got 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5 now. But you don't have to read them in order. That he does more like stories from his life. But will link to so the one I've just read, he did like chapters on money, chapters on fame, and he'd like link stories from his life. They're very funny, very good books. But so I have a go-to of like autobiographies and things like that. But then on the other hand, I do like, I don't really know how to describe them, but they're fiction, but the ones that you could see in real life. So as much as I love like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, fantasy books like that, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, things like that. I like the ones that we can relate to real life. So like crime, like James Patterson and stuff like that is brilliant. But at the moment, I'm reading a book called High Fidelity, which is by Nick Hornby. It's about a guy that owns a record shop, basically. But it's fiction. It's not, it might be based on something that he's known in his life, but it's not a true story. But it's something that you can read and be like, I know someone like that. Or I've seen a situation like that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but I jump all over the place with books. But I think if you said to me which one do you read the most, it is probably autobiographies, and to get to know more about people and about the films I love and the music I love and things like that. What about you?
Same.
Yeah,
it literally is. I'm literally looking at my bookshelf now because I'm sat in my office and looking at what books I have on the shelf. And it is, I've got autobiographies or things about people's jobs, especially, for the older viewers or the older listeners, I should say. This Is Gonna Hurt.
Have you seen?
Yeah.
Yeah, the book's amazing.
Absolutely love the book. And I couldn't believe it was only recently Sarah said they're making it into a TV show.
It came out in last month or something, didn't it?
I've watched them all. The TV show, and I've read all his books, and he's got a new book coming out this year, which is really cool. But yeah, just hearing about his life as growing up, as his life as a doctor, and the struggles he had, and and it literally, the TV series has done it justice, I must admit. And I think he was involved in the production of that, so it shows you
he was.
That he's kept it, as much as he can to the book. And I'd love to see a second series of that one.
Well, he's got more books out, hasn't he? So
he has. But like that one. And then also I've got the Rev Diaries. I don't know if anybody remembers watching Rev on TV. Excellent book. I got a book. I got Peter Kay's biography. Richard Hammond's. I got Dave Grohl up there.
I'm just sending you, Darren, I'm sending you a link. So you were saying you like This Is Going to Hurt. For anyone that likes that book and likes those type of stories about doctors or paramedics or police or whatever, there is a fantastic book called Blood, Sweat and Tea, which is written by a guy called Tom Reynolds, who is a paramedic. And it's about, he basically kept a diary. There's 2 of them. So there's Blood, Sweat and Tea, and then there's more blood, more sweat and more sweat and more tea. Really, really good book. Probably one of the first books I read within that category of like real life diary type thing. And
okay,
really good.
I'm just looking through my Kindle now at some of the books that I've got. Excuse me. I got autobiographies on here. David Mitchell's Thinking About It Only Makes It Worse. Michael and Jack Whitehall, Him and Me, Police Crime and 999.
Yeah, see, I think that's the thing, is autobiographies that are on a huge rise at the moment, and it might not even just be an autobiography. It might be, as I say, someone's diary, or one of the books that I am most looking forward to this year. I think it's coming October or November. Is Alan Rickman, before he passed away, he kept diaries throughout his whole film career and always said that he wanted to make them into a memoir one day. And one of his wishes was that happened, and they are finally releasing that at the end of this year.
Oh, nice.
So that'd be good. But there we go. I mean, books, as we've just shown, we could talk about books for ages, and it's something we'd encourage people. If you don't read, find something, and you want to, find something that you can really grow to love and get involved in, and, you know, it's worth doing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
escape.
there was a massive series of books, and I can't seem to find it. And it was the Confessions of series that I found on Amazon on the Kindle. And it was like Confessions of a Nurse, Confessions of a Police Officer, and like those sort of books, because they kind of was real life, open and honest accounts of their job. Absolutely loved reading them. And yeah, there's but there's still, there's so many books out there. You know, you're bound to find something that sparks your interest.
Yeah.
So have a look. Go to your local library. Support your library.
Do it.
Rather than supporting Amazon, because they need your support. And if they haven't got a book in, likelihood is if you ask for them to order it, the majority of them say, "Yeah, we'll try and get that one in," or they can get it from another library within your county. But yeah, use them. I know with our library service recently for World Book Day, it was that if you have got any fines outstanding on your library card, come in on this day and we'll wipe them free for you.
Nice.
Which is really cool. And even if they are not doing that on that day, if you go in and just say, I really can't afford them, the majority of them can actually wipe it off. But yeah, get out there and grab a book and read. Let us know what book you're reading at the moment. If you're reading a book, let us know any books that you think that we'd like. Because we're always up for, same with our music and movies, we're always up for recommendations. I think recently, we had a recommendation from one of the youth who said to read Divergent.
We did, and I did. I read the first two, haven't read the third one yet.
So, so, we do take it seriously. We do get the books and we do, start reading. I mean, I got the first book. I've not actually started reading it yet. I got a whole stack of books needed reading at the moment. I've got Billy Connolly's autobiography that I'm really want to get into, but I want to find a time where I can sit down and completely read it, because I know it's going to be a page. Well, I'm hoping it's going to be a page turner. But yeah, it's
There we go. But so, I mean, we're coming to the end of our podcast now. As Darren says, let us know what books you've read. Let us know what you did for World Book Day this year. If you did anything, we'd love to hear it. But before we come to an end, I'm sticking with it. We're doing Darren's Dilemmas. We're making this a segment because we're going to have 3 riddles, Darren. You just got to see how many out of 3 can you get.
Well, it's going to be 0, isn't it?
Do you know what I've done this time? Riddles for kids. So, are we ready?
I'm still going to fail.
Okay, your first one. What has many keys but cannot open a single lock?
A piano.
Correct. 1 out of 3. You are on a roll.
I mean, I know it's for kids, but there you go.
What can you hold in your left hand but not your right hand?
What can you hold in your left hand?
Yeah.
But not your right hand?
Not in your right hand.
What can you hold in your left hand? Right hand?
For anyone that obviously you're listening, you can't see this. Darren, the thought process at the moment, he's got his hands out. He's trying to.
It's hurting the brain. I don't know. No.
For anyone at home, hopefully you've got it. Your right elbow. Okay. Okay, and your final one, Darren. What gets bigger when more is taken away? What gets bigger when more is taken away?
What gets bigger if more is taken away? No idea.
No? Okay, for anyone at home, it's a hole. The more you take away, the bigger it gets. It's a hole. So, Darren, today on Darren's Dilemmas, you got 1 out of 3.
Why is it Darren's Dilemmas? Why can't it be Antony's Dilemmas?
Because Darren's Dilemmas is alliteration and it sounds nicer.
Well, tune in next week where I'm going to do some riddles for Anthony. We'll take it in turns.
You go for it, but I'm still going to bring you 3, whether you can see if you can beat your score, because it just makes me laugh. And if you have a better name, feel free to pass it on.
Yeah. Anyway. How to give Darren a headache.
Over to you.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget, head over to our website at www.catalystyouth.org.uk, where you can find all our social media handles. You can find all the information about Catalyst and all the things that we're up to. Don't forget, camp is fast approaching. There are still spaces on camp. So if you're part of our youth group, don't forget to get your booking forms in. If you're not part of our youth group, but you're in the local area of our 2 churches, then head over and come and see us or send us a message. You can email us at either Darren, Antony, or info@catalystyouth.org.uk. We are here every week, usually, doing podcasts. Apologies, we weren't here last week. Sadly, my nan passed away the day before we're due to record, and head was not in the right place. But usually we're here every Friday, 2 p.m, on all the streaming platforms that we can get our podcast on, that we don't get chucked off of. One thing before we go, don't forget to hold up your prayers for those in the Ukraine. And also, if you have got time and you've got a bit of money in your account, head over to one of the websites that are collecting money, especially the Disasters Committee, Emergency Disasters Committee, who are currently collecting money for the Ukraine to help those who are in need. That's all from us. And it's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from him. We will see you soon.
Cheers.